Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Deus Legend for Deus Legend Belts. Back with a new video here, a comparison video, probably the one everyone has been looking for. This is comparing a Classic Shills Big Eagle belt versus a Great Custom Belts Big Eagle belt. The Classic Shills is the JMAR 99 version, while the Great Custom Belts is the JMAR 2000 version. We'll take a look and compare some of the differences, some of the similarities, everything like that. See if one is actually worth more than the other by almost two times the value of this belt. So I'm gonna push the belts together closer so we can see the details better here on camera. So let's jump right into it. And also, we are filming, supposed to be eclipse going on right now, but I don't know. I'm not sure if we are seeing it here, but I don't know. It's supposed to be going on right now as we film this, actually. So pretty cool, huh? But anyway, let's get into this here. Okay, we are back here, taking a closer look here at these two belts. Again, this is the Great Custom Belts version of the Big Eagle, the JMAR 2000 version. The top one is Classic Shills JMAR 99 version. First off, go over a few differences between the two versions right quick. The JMAR 2000 version has the white painted WWF logo on the main plate and also on the side plates as well. The logos are painted. And it also has the black painted property plate here. You see here on the 99 version, it has the all gold JMAR 99, JMAR 2000, or JMAR 2K, and the unpainted logos. Well, I say unpainted, but the WWF is painted black there on the side plates versus white on the other version. But okay, that's the differences between the belts. Artwork and everything else is the same between both versions. It's just a matter of how they are painted and the property plate, and also the leather tooling as well. But we're mostly here for the plates for now. Both belts are HD 4.2 millimeter acid etched. Both belts have standard etching. This isn't deep etching or anything like that on either belt. See the text on this one. So, some good indicators to test the quality of plates. Like, look at the etching, things like text and things like that. You can look at to tell the quality of the etching there. On the GCB version, I would say it's a bit cleaner there on that text. We're looking at the GCB version right now, and we will go up to the Classic Shills version. I would say the GCB version is slightly better in that regard for etching quality and how clean the etch is. I would say it's better. The champion banner here. Let's take a look at it on the Classic Shills champion banner. I would say they're about the same for large details like that, but it's a matter of the fine details. Details like when you look at like the feathers and the wings, I'm not sure how good it's coming across on camera, but I would say they are pretty equal in this regard for details on the wings. And both are actually pretty close in quality. I would say there's not like a huge difference here, but on some aspects I would say the GCB version is a little bit better. You see here the text on the McMahon crest. It's hard to come across on camera. This is the GCB version. This is classic shields. Slightly different artwork for the little lion creature things, I would say. I'll say the classic shield version of the shield looks a little bit better. Both have the nugget texturing in the shield. Again, I would say the text itself on the GCB version is better. So just a hair cleaner and just a little bit deeper and easier to read. As you can see, we're looking at the CS version now. And now we are looking at the Great Custom Belts version. In terms of etching depth and stuff, I think it's a little bit more noticeable on the side plates here. As you see, the GCB version, these sun rays here, or sunburst patterns, are I think a little bit deeper and defined here. And also the depth of the shield there, I'll say it's a little bit deeper than on the classic shield version. Both very close, but I would say there's a noticeable difference if you're eyeballing both belts at the same time. Moving along to this plate, sort of the same thing going on here. Slightly deeper and more defined etching on the Great Custom Belts version. And it'll be the same for these plates as well on this side. In terms of gem quality, take a look at that. Great Custom Belts use pointed back cubic zirconia stones, while the classic shields version are flatbacks, I believe. But I will say classic shields, their gem settings are a lot better. As you see, check out the circle around the gem there. It's set inside of the circle as it should be on the classic shields version. Same for the smaller stones and the stones on the side plates. While Great Custom Belts, their stones are slightly too big for the stone holders here. As you see, some of the settings are sort of off and they sort of just sit on top of the circle. See, this gem here is a little uneven. So that's where I would give classic shields a point there for having better gem settings. But overall, in terms of the quality of the etching, things like that, I would say the GCB version is better. Both are using pretty similar artwork as well. And also another thing, I would say the blue on the classic shields version is more accurate to what it should be, I believe, to the real belt, versus the one on the GCB version is a lighter baby blue, powder blue, or sky blue, whatever you want to call this, versus classic shields, I believe it's a little bit closer to what it should be. Then we go to the leather here. GCB version has premium upgraded leather. Also, we'll note the tooling differences between the 99 version and the 2000 version. The 2000 version had the WF logos going around the border, while the 99 version did not. It sort of had this bevel cutout area here with shell tooling beginning in inside the plate areas here, while outside the plate it's no shell tooling and plain bevel border there. Snap boxes are the same on both versions, however. In terms of leather quality, I believe this is Classic Shield's standard leather, and there's really no competition between the two. The Classic Shield's one, pretty rough to the touch, pretty rigid, and not as good as the Great Custom Belts version. This one is fully upgraded, has thicker leather, it feels better in the hand. You just have to touch it to be able to quantify the differences here. But however, both do have sealed edges. There you go. Both are sealed on the edges, so that's something. But overall, the leather is just way better on the Great Custom Belts version with this upgraded leather option versus the Classic Shields is the standard leather. And for the price, I believe you should get better leather. So speaking of which, pricing. So I believe pricing changes all the time. So as of recording this video, I believe the pricing for the Classic Shields for their version of this belt is about somewhere between $1,200 and $1,600, depending on whether you get upgraded stones or leather and all that stuff. So I believe the base is like $1,200. It's possible you can find one in stock for cheaper than that from Classic Shields. So $1,200 at least, brand new, direct from them, I believe is what the price will be for this Big Eagle. But Great Custom Belts baseline price is about $600 for their version of the belt here. Upgraded leather will add another $150, $200, I believe. So I believe a fully upgraded belt from Great Custom Belts will be about $750 or $800 possibly. I believe $750 is more accurate to current pricing. So be sure to check with the maker, see what the pricing is, as their pricing does change, it seems like on a daily basis. So be sure you check on that. But overall, the GCB version will be cheaper and overall better bang for the buck, I believe. Got that blue is coming. I do like the blue on the Classic Shields version. I do think that looks better. But yeah, overall quality, I would say GCB is better. Breaking it down to specific details, like the gems are definitely better on the Classic Shields version, no doubt about that. The gold plating is about the same. I would say the gold plating seems to be a slightly deeper or darker shade on the GCB version. It's hard to see that on camera probably, but yeah. Overall etching quality and depth, I would say the GCB version is better. It has more defined edges and cleaner text on the GCB version versus the Classic Shields version. Leather quality, no question about that. GCB version is way better. Night and day difference. You have to touch it and be here to know. The Classic Shields version is just standard leather. So sort of an unfair competition in comparison, I think, between that, but that's what we have. So I have to compare what I have here. But overall, both are good belts. I'm not knocking either belt here for anything. Whichever one you want to buy, that's up to you. The point of this comparison is just to show that other makers are now up to the standards of what Classic Shields are and what people believe should be the standards for belt making. And there are other more affordable alternatives out there that you can possibly do versus just going all out, getting the top of the line name brand Classic Shields. GCB is pretty good here for everything, and not a real noticeable difference in quality to justify the price of the classic shields, and the pricing differences is what I'm trying to say here. Alright guys, to sort of wrap things up here, I initially did like a blind test or poll with a few people I talked to in the belt groups and stuff on Facebook, and I sent them all the 4 of the same pictures of these belts together and asked them, first off, which belt looks better to them, and second question being, which one is the CS belt, and the third question being, does either belt look like it should be worth like $500 to $600 or so than the other? And the results were shocking, sort of, I guess. Not really to me, really, but most people preferred the belt from GCB over the classic shields one. A lot of people like the etching on the GCB belt better. It is more deeply etched and stuff. Things are a little bit deeper and clearer. But I would say, accuracy wise, if we're going by how Jamar originally made the belts, Jamar belts were not deeply etched or anything like that. They were quite shallow in the etching, and with that regard, the CS belt is more accurate in that regard for the slightly shallow etching compared to this belt. This belt is just a little bit deeper etched, just slightly, if you look really close at them. But yeah, most people prefer the GCB belt. Out of 20 people I surveyed, only 2 selected the CS belt and said it looked better. And I also asked 3 makers as well, and also shockingly, 2 out of 3 of those makers said that the CS belt appeared to be SD in some areas. That could be due to the slightly shallow etching that was done to make it more accurate, because maybe they're used to the more deeply etched ones that they do themselves. But both belts are indeed HD, 4.2 millimeter, all that stuff. But that was sort of interesting as well, that 2 out of 3 makers mentioned that they thought the belt was SD. So yeah, those are the results. And lastly, I would say, giving the pluses and minuses of both belts, is one belt really worth more, like $500 to $600, even up to $800 or $1,000, depending on if you get discounts or not, more than the other? And I would say the answer to that is no. But you can be the judge of things yourself. You can educate yourself, watch reviews, ask people questions about either belt before you make a purchase, make an informed decision about whichever belt you want to purchase. That's up to you. If you want to pay more for the Classic Shields one, go right ahead. There's nothing wrong with doing that. It is still a good product. I'm not trying to knock the product at all. But based on what you get for the money, you can get the same thing for much cheaper. That's all we're trying to say here. So we need to come together as a community to be able to look at the quality of belts justifiably and objectively, and not just go by who the maker is, because that fact sometimes matters, but sometimes don't. If you actually look at what you're getting, you can get the same quality product for like half the price a lot of times. So just do your research, see what is out there, ask people questions, ask for people to do pictures, watch reviews here on YouTube, things like that, and make an informed decision on what you're buying. Whichever one you want to buy, the GCB version or the CS version, more power to you. But I'm going to stop rambling here and wrap it up. But anyway, if you guys like these kind of videos, comparisons between 2 different makers, comparing 2 different like manufacturing types like CNC, SD, HD, different leather, those type of things, let me know in the comments. We can definitely do those kind of videos in the future and take a look at those things for you guys. But this has been Deus Legend. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to drop a like on the video and also subscribe to the channel as well. I have new videos dropping every Friday here, so make sure you're here for that. If you're into gaming, make sure you check out my gaming channel, Deus Legend XBLN, and follow me on all the social networks. Links to that will be in the description below. But anyway, again, thanks for watching, and see you on the next one. Bye-bye.